forget to say this at the end, so tip your servers well. They're nice and they work in the dark. Okay, folks, the movie you're about to see is a movie that's a couple of different things. It's a big deal and a big movie. First off, it's a Shaw Brothers production. Shaw was the biggest movie studio in the world, martial arts history, a big movie studio out of Hong Kong that made hundreds of movies a year. It's directed by someone who is one of the most identified directors with Shaw Brothers, or one of the most, Lau Kar-leung. Lau Kar-leung was a martial artist who learned from his dad. His dad learned from one of the students of Wong Fei-hung, who's made famous by Jet Li in the Once Upon a Time in China series. So he is an old school martial art lineage. Lau Kar-leung was a choreographer at Shaw for a long time. He choreographed a lot of Chang Cheh's movies, like One-Armed Swordsman and a bunch of ones like that. Then became a director on his own, making movies that were real showcases for martial arts styles, how to use them, where to use them. He didn't so much innovate styles, he made them look good for the camera, but his goal was to preserve styles and to show the true spirit of martial arts on screen. The movie he made today is one where they decided, Shaw had been shooting on their backlot for years and years and years, and in the 80s, their star was slipping. No one wanted old school kung fu anymore. They wanted new stuff, they wanted new stars. So Shaw decided to send their biggest director of the time, Lau Kar-leung, to mainland China to shoot on locations there. So the Great Wall of China, there's a fight scene on it. The original Shaolin Temple, there's a fight scene in it. I mean, everything you're seeing in this are real locations from 1986. So this is before there was much tourism into China. This stuff is unspoiled. But the production wasn't entirely happy because there was a real clash between the Hong Kong crews and the mainland crews. But this movie is made up of new faces. One of those new faces, a lot of these are martial artists who had only been in a couple of mainland movies before, and one of them in particular was a national wushu champion, Jet Li. Jet Li was 23 years old when he made this movie. He'd only made 2 movies before, Shaolin Temple in mainland China and Kids from Shaolin. This was the third. It was not a happy experience for Li and his martial artists who worked with him on all 3 of those movies, but the work they turn in is blistering. And I'm just going to say, this is Jet Li like you will never, almost ever see him again. After this movie was a huge hit in China. I think it sold over 100 million tickets. It did really good business. In Hong Kong, it was number 6 for the year. It was considered a little disappointing in 1986. But this movie has not been screened on the big screen often, which I think is necessary to appreciate its charms. And this movie is something else because after this movie, Jet Li went into exile basically in San Francisco. He moved to the States. He couldn't get his film career off the ground. He started a few movies, but 4 years later, he appeared in Tsui Hark's Once Upon a Time in China playing Wong Fei-hung and became a huge superstar. He was already a star in this, but that made him an international icon. It also gave him a crippling back injury and a broken leg that really hampered everything he did for the rest of his career. He had to work around those. But in this movie, he's 23, his spine is still intact, no one's broken his leg, and he is amazing. This is also the last thing I'll say. This is the last movie Shaw Brothers made. And the rumor is that they shut down studios just because they weren't making money in the middle of the production of this movie. And I've heard from some people that their crew was actually stranded in mainland China because they hadn't gotten return tickets back to Hong Kong from Shaw Brothers and had to raise money, like shake the can for friends, to bail them out and get them back to Hong Kong. So you were about to see one of Jet Li's very first movies, his only collaboration with master director Lau Kar-leung, and the very last Shaw Brother movies, and one of the earliest martial arts movies made in mainland China. So ladies and gentlemen, sit back, prepare to feel your brain explode as you watch Martial Arts of Shaolin!